Let him in. Oh. Hi there. Ooh. Hey, everybody. All right. I'm going to hook us up to Facebook real quick. If I can. I may not be able to do it. All right. Okay, I thought this would be easier to get on Facebook Live. Connected. Where would you post your Zoom meeting? To my group. I see somebody's fan. Hold on a second. Go live. Okay, I think it's going to the Facebook group. We'll see. Sorry, this is taking so long. Beginning. Well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. Okay, hey everybody, let me admit somebody into the waiting room. Hi, we can unmute. Where are you guys calling in from? Let me unmute everybody. Well, I don't know how to do that. Ask all to unmute. Okay.
Kentucky.
Oh, is that Jetty?
It is. How
Hi.
are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Yay. Let's see. Grab my notes. Anybody else? Where are you guys calling in from? I'm in Dayton, Ohio. Woohoo! Center of the
Myrtle
universe.
Beach, South Carolina.
All right. Oh, and you're in the UK at midnight. So Liz, you don't want to yell?
Santa Barbara, California.
Nice. Oh, hi, Susan. How are you?
Hi, it's so good to see you
And didn't you
again.
used to live in Beverly Hills?
No, I didn't. Maybe
Oh,
you're
okay.
thinking of another Susan.
Maybe. Santa Barbara's pretty awesome. That's where Oprah,
Yeah, it is.
Jack Canfield lived.
That's true.
Yeah.
And Prince Harry and
Oh, yeah.
his wife and 2 kids. And Ellen DeGeneres.
Oh, wow. I didn't know all that.
Yeah, there's more too.
Oh, okay. So I didn't have time to freshen up before. So this is what I look like at the end of the day. I've been running around doing the mom thing, the daughter-in-law thing, summer and cooking dinner and all that stuff. So this is
Well,
what
you're looking really good. You really are.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna get started. If anybody else pops in, I'll hear about it. But let's see. I'm gonna mute. I'm gonna mute everybody. And if you have a question, put something in chat. That'll be good. Okay, mute all, yes. And I think I want to like spotlight myself. No, that's not what I want to do. No. Huh. Use pen, pin me. Oh, okay, here we go. Hi. Woohoo. So, you guys saw my email where I talked about how I lost my nerve for a while. Yeah, I haven't been communicating a lot. I haven't been doing a lot of the fibro lady stuff. And I thought I'd kind of tell you what was going on with me. And I know that a lot of people have been challenged the last couple of years. And I get it because I'm challenged too, in a big way. I mean, I got to the point where with everything that was going on, it seemed like it was a combination of things. It was partly my mindset. I guess that's probably the root cause of everything that happens to us. And partly what was going on in the world, partly what was going on in my family and my business and my health. In 2019, so even before COVID, my father passed away. And that was the year that also my business started going down. And I found out later what the deal was with that. It was like I had like the un-Midas touch. Like everything I touched turned to crap. Nothing was working. And before that, business had been so good. And, people were getting helped and the message was getting out and I was traveling all over doing speaking and all that. And then 2019 came and my dad died that summer. And then, I had to help my mom a lot. But everything with business was just everything I touched went bad and I couldn't figure out why. And I thought it was me. And, probably ultimately it's me, my mindset, what I was attracting for sure. But there's this thing I found out a couple of years later called shadow banning. And because I'm in natural health, this is something that where, you're think you're advertising, you think you're getting reach on social media and search engines and things like that. And actually they don't tell you, but they're suppressing stuff. I don't know how you admit people without remotely, but yeah, so I was being shadow banned and I'm still being shadow banned. So if you got to see my email, you're lucky because a huge percentage of my list, it gets filtered. They're saying, oh, the fibrolady.com is spam. I've never sent out a spammy email in my life. And yeah, it's just been doing the internet business has been the hardest thing I've ever done in my working life. As far as like trying to wrap my mind around this. There's a lot of really smart people that are very technical that are trying to stymie natural health. And it's all I can do to get this message out. I'm not a super technical person. I'm okay with the technology, but I'm not super technical. I mean, I can sit here and do a lot Facebook Live or whatever, pretty much by myself. I don't need a staff to help me or anything like that, like some people do. But yeah, I can, send out emails and all that stuff. I don't need a big staff or anything like that. But anyway. So everything I did to try and
Who's
get that.
behind that? Do you know who's behind doing that?
Well,
banning?
yeah, I think probably big pharma and the tech companies, it started before COVID. Okay. In my case, they were trying to ban doctors like Dr. Mercola. I mean, he's like, I've been around since before Google, and Google like tried to actually deplatformed him as far as like,
Oh yeah, they
show up
sure
on
did. Yeah, we
Yeah.
could actually go on and on and on about what's going on behind the scenes. I'm
right.
really sorry to hear that happened to you too.
Yeah. And I'm like super small potatoes and I'm not doing anything controversial. Like I'm not doing anything about COVID. I'm not doing anything about cancer. I'm helping people recover from fibromyalgia. And it's just that the fact that I'm saying that you can get these amazing results, that's a possibility, I think is just, that's what flip the trigger. And so, I'm still at it. I want you guys to know that I'm still at it. I'm still doing things. It's just that I kind of got derailed with all that was going on in the world. And it wasn't just business. It was also, the lockdowns came and I became a homeschooling mom, not on purpose, to a 4th grader. my miracle baby, who's going into 9th grade this fall. I got a high schooler, a teenager, so that's insane and amazing. And anyway, so in 2020, when the lockdowns happened, my husband works in a different city than we live in, so he has a big commute. And so he was home all the time, which was good, but he hated it. The kitchen never closed for weeks. My son was home from school, and money stopped on a dime, like revenue stopped on a dime in the business. And I had to do something. And I'll tell you about what I did in a minute. I'm just kind of going through the list here. And I don't want to get into a bunch of details about what happened with my son, but it was an untenable situation. And then my husband and I got married in 2000. So this year we've married 23 years. And
Congratulations.
thank you. Well,
I'm
I'll tell
really
you.
sorry. I'm sorry for the loss of your father.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that, Susan.
Yeah, that's a big loss.
Yeah. It was really hard on my mom, more so than me. I feel like I've been in communication with my father since pretty much he passed away. And my mom is, she had a really hard time of it, which is understandable. Anyway, so we had this untenable situation with my son with all the COVID lockdowns and all that crap and the homeschooling not on purpose. And my husband and I, like this, the stress of all the finances, the stress of all this, having a teenager, all that, we started to communicate a lot less. And we recognized that our marriage wasn't as fresh as it used to be. And now, I don't know if you guys know this, but I was married once before. My husband was married once before. We were both only married for 3 years before with our first spouses. And we didn't have any kids from those marriages, but we made a promise to each other when we got married that, no matter what, we're not getting divorced. And if things start to turn, whatever, we're going to do marriage counseling, whatever it takes to keep things going okay. So I made him, well, I'll tell you about what we did in a minute. So, and I just want to say I gained a bunch of weight and I went through menopause, and, I kind of sailed through menopause, but I did gain weight, and I had a flicker of depression coming in and then after 11 years of no symptoms, I started having PTSD because of what was going on in the world and wearing a mask. I had no idea that wearing a mask would cause me to feel like I was going to die. So having to wear a mask and then watching the news and all that tension, PTSD started to rear its ugly head again. From I don't know if you guys know, I had PTSD from when I was in the Army. I was out of the Army. Part of it was from being in the Army, but then I went to Bosnia as a civilian contractor, and I came home. My big souvenir from Bosnia was PTSD. So I don't want you guys to think I'm throwing a pity party. I know a lot of people lost everything in the last few years, and I know a lot of people, almost everybody suffered, but I just kind of wanted to tell you I'm a real person and I have real issues, and I've found some really profound solutions that affected my life, and I just really am honored to share them with you. One of the things that helped with the financial pressure is I got an outside job for the first time in 20 years. Like I hadn't worked outside the home, and so I got hurt at work in 1999, and I had fibromyalgia for a few years before that, but then I got hurt at work in 1999, and that was the end of me working outside the home. So for the first time in 20 years, I got a job outside the house, and that was really interesting because I wasn't working for myself. I had a boss and stuff. So I've been doing business coaching and sales for an online guru. this has, this, first of all, I brought in finances we needed. And it's also contributed to my knowledge of having an online business. So it was a really smart move on my part to what I did, like the smart move for me. Oh, I gotta let somebody in. Was that what I did for a part-time job invested in what I wanted to do with my life. So I'm learning to enhance my own career on someone else's dime. So that's kind of cool. And they know that, they know that they're fine with that. For my son, I really invested in getting him in a better environment, and it's really paid off. He's got a close group of friends now that he hangs out with all the time, and they're nice kids. And he found his passion, which is roller coasters. And we are actually going on what I'm calling a roller coaster safari trip this summer. We're going into multiple states, and we're going to be doing lots of roller coasters this summer. We might be doing close to 100 different roller coasters. So with my marriage, my husband and I joined at a local church, a group called Reengage, and that has reignited our relationship. And we're not perfect. We probably never will be, but at least we're communicating so much better now. One of the big takeaways with that was that we didn't want to complain to each other about stuff. We just let the small things go. And what we found out was that by letting the small things go, they just built up, even though they were just small little dinky things that, we didn't say anything about them. We just let it go, or there wasn't time to talk about things thoroughly. And so we just started talking more, and we had the direction and the accountability of our group every week. We did it from January to the end of May. So 5 months it was other couples, and it wasn't about like blaming somebody. They say, draw a circle around you and fix the person inside your circle. So it was about like fixing yourself, not blaming your spouse. And it was a very positive environment. And it was, yeah. So I think that, I really got to see things from my husband's point of view, and I got to see things I was doing, and our marriage wasn't bad, but we were getting into like some apathy. And I'm so happy now that with what we've been doing. And I feel like I can talk to my husband about anything, where I felt like that when we were first married, and I felt like that for a really long time. But then because I didn't bring stuff up, and then I started to feel lonely, and he did too. And so we addressed that, and I can't recommend Reengage highly enough. You don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to belong to a church. You just have it, but they have it at churches. It's kind of like Financial Peace University. They have it at churches, but you don't have to be a member of that church. You don't have to be a Christian, or anything like that for it to work. So anyway, so that was a really positive thing that happened to me this year. This year has been a great bounce back year. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my health. So I got serious about the things I know work to help with depression and PTSD and weight gain. I did, my detoxing. I got double down on that, gut healing, meridian tapping for the anxiety. And I started doing the HCG diet again, because one of the things that the doctor that started the diet said is that when women go through menopause, a lot of times, well, thanks, Jenny. A lot of times when you go through menopause, they gain the weight back. So I did the HCG diet 10 years ago, and the weight's been creeping up, but in the last 3 years, it really came on, and big time. And so I started doing it right after Easter, and I've lost 25 pounds. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Congratulations. That's
Thank
great.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Woohoo.
I went from a tight size 16 to a loose size 16, which is this is my first round. So in August, I'm going to start again after my birthday. And yeah, it's going to be yeah, and I actually want to tell you guys about some of the stuff I got coming up. But I feel like I got my nerve back. I feel like I got my groove back, and I'm ready to be out and play. And I just think the moral of my story was that even though I recovered from fibromyalgia 15 years ago, next month, actually in July, you know, life still goes on. There's still challenges. There's still things that come up, and there's these principles that I've been following for all these years that keep ringing true. That, you know, to watch my mindset, to watch what I eat healthy, like invest in my health, and invest in these really important relationships with my son and my husband, my, you know, my family, and by like kind of getting my mindset right about those and taking the actions, I feel like I've come out on the other side of that. We all have ebbs and flows, you know, lows and highs, and I these last 3 years, it's like one big ugly dark year. And I'm sure a lot of you can totally identify with that. So yeah. So what I got coming, I want to tell you a couple of stories about how I help people recover, and then I'm going to tell you about some stuff I have coming up that I think you guys will find really fun and exciting. And if you're local, hang on. This is some really cool stuff for people who are local or willing to travel to the Dayton, Ohio area. Like I said, it's the center of the universe. So yeah, but before I do that, I just, you know, I want to, you know, if the stories I tell you about make sense to you, like, oh, I can see how you help people recover, because I want that for everybody. I want everybody to be able to get their groove back. I want everybody to take their life back, take their health back, get their mindset back, have a, you know, a wonderful, cheerful attitude, be able to, you know, I'm riding roller coasters at 55. You know, I want everybody to be able to do that if they, whatever they want to do. If you think this is a good fit for you, like it makes sense to you, I'm going to invite you to have a free conversation with me to see if working together would be a good fit for you. I have a few openings Friday and Saturday of this week. The fibroladycalendar.com is where you would go to sign up. It's free. There's no obligation. And, you know, we'll talk. So that's about all. And when I get back after July 15th, my calendar's wide open, but I have a few appointments available Friday and Saturday. And the session, you know, we'll create a crystal clear vision of what your life would look like beyond fibromyalgia and how that would go. We'll uncover any hidden challenges you have, some things that might be sabotaging you. And you're going to leave this session re-energized and inspired to finally take your health back. So I want to tell you the story about, I'm sorry, I'm pulling up my notes here. There's this lady named Stacy, and that's not her real name. But she was a lady, she was a grandma. She was in her early 60s. She was a grandma, and she had a grandson that was 4 years old. And she, you know, wanted nothing more than to babysit him. But she, you know, kind of had to get the house ready before he came. So she was tired when he got there. And then she would play with him and stuff like that. And it would take her 2 weeks to recover from playing with him. And it was, you know, a bad situation because she really wanted to be around her grandson. Well, so we started working together. The first thing I did, we had a big initial session where what I did is I went over all her supplements, all her medications, and all of her food. And so we looked where she needed to start. And so that was determined. And then I made a plan for her so she knew what she was doing every day. And we were checking in a couple of times a week at the beginning. and then once a week, and then once every 2 weeks. And we agreed to meet for 6 months. And as a side note, so her husband, as his hobby was gourmet cooking. So he like made her all this amazing food to help her get well. And so she actually, it took her about 4 months to recover, which is faster than me. It took me 7 months. And yeah, so let me tell you her results. So in 4 months, she was able to lose 25 pounds effortlessly. She was actually surprised because she was giving away some clothes to charity, and she realized the clothes she was giving away, which were smaller, actually fit her, and her other clothes were just too big. So she wound up giving away her regular clothes. She came off 5 prescription medications with the help of her doctor. And now with me, I had 12 prescription medications, and I had to get help from my doctor. And actually in my book, Freedom from Fibromyalgia, I actually wrote out the plan that my doctor and I came out with. And that would be something that you could take, to your doctor and show him or her, hey, here's the plan that this lady did when she started feeling less symptoms. Don't come off pain medications unless you're in less pain. Just so you know, I didn't come off any pain medications until I was in less pain, by the way. And then she had terrible pain in her stomach all the time, and the doctors couldn't figure it out. And she was actually signed up for some more tests, and the pain went away. So she actually canceled the tests. But she got her energy and her stamina back. So what happened in her particular case was that her son actually broke up with his wife, unfortunately, and he had to come live with her. And so then he brought his grandson with him, the grandson with him, the 4-year-old with him. So she was actually able to get the house ready, get the room ready for them to stay in and all that. And now she babysits that child every day, and she's able to do it with joy and stamina. And she's able to do that. So if she hadn't been able to recover in those 4 or 5 months that we worked together, she would have missed out on that opportunity, or it would not have been a joyful experience for her. It would have been something, that, she would not been able to muster up the energy or the stamina to participate in. And we know what it's like. We all know what it's like, to have to miss out on participating in the fun things and the interesting things in life. My big regret from when I was sick was that my nieces and nephews were really young. And, I'd get invited to a confirmation or a baptism or a birthday party or whatever. And I'd have to cancel at the last minute. And the kids, I never got to, I didn't get to take the kids out. They never really got to know me. I was just what I call a familiar stranger. They just really didn't. Yeah. It was sad. And then, on the flip side of that, when my niece got married, I was actually able to say yes to go to her wedding, and I knew I was going to be there. So that was super important to me to go to her wedding. And I was able to do that. And I didn't have to think twice that I wasn't going to be able to do that. Let me tell you another story about a lady that I helped. She was actually somebody who, she just heard me talk at a place in Washington, D.C. And she just like kind of went through my book and did some things with that. And so she was, working. She's working a regular job, but she couldn't do anything outside of work. She'd just go home and, as you do. And her daughter is an athlete. Her teenage daughter is a high school athlete, a swimmer. And every time they went on a vacation trip or anything like that, mom always had to stay back at the room and rest while the family did things. Sure, that sounds familiar to all of you. So she started doing the detox and eating some of the food and supplements and stuff like that. And within about 6 weeks, she felt so much better. She was actually able to she lives outside of DC. She's actually able to ride her bike into Washington, DC, 10 miles, which I went on a 12-mile bike trip back when I was in the Army along the Rhine River in Germany. And I was like, my muscles weren't sore, but my butt was sore from being on the bike seat. I just sit on a pillow for a couple of days, so like but she wrote me this letter, like, and told me all about it, how she was able to go and back. And the thing that made her so satisfied was that she wore out her daughter. and she was at a friend's house, and she was able to do all this stuff, and her friend was like, oh my gosh, like what's going on, how's that so amazing? And yeah, so I guess the long and short of it is, there are some people who would really like some hand holding doing this method, the Freedom from Fibromyalgia method, and really have somebody help them who's an expert at it, like me. And I know what it's like to try and find somebody who knows how to do something. It can be very frustrating. And then there's people who can read a book and just like get on with it and do it. I needed hand holding to do it personally, and I did, and I was able to do it. And then I've been able to systematize it pretty well so that people can read that book and go and do it. But then also there's people that they need the extra accountability. They need they need they have like a different situation than mine, and they need some expert help. So if that makes sense to you, I'd say go to the fibroladycalendar.com and book a session with me, and we'll talk. And yeah, so let me see. Let me get back to my other notes. If you want to hear about more people recovering, if you like these stories, if you go to my website, thefibrolady.com, and click on the tab that says testimonials, there's all kinds of video and written testimonials that people have sent me. And even if you, okay, I'll tell you a little backdoor thing. So on the media tab, I have a big document with all my testimonials and videos and links and stuff on it. It's for the media. Like if I'm being interviewed on like the radio or TV or something, or podcasts. So like everything I had to, this is a big document. It's like a term paper. I had to get this huge document together to show like proof of like, the people I helped and what I did and everything. So that's if you really, really want to do your due diligence about me and all that stuff, like the media needs to, I'd say go check out that media document. Okay, so see, I told you about I'm going on my road trip. And yeah, we're gonna be gone like 5 weeks. So I mean, don't come to my house, Mr. Burglar, but we're gonna be gone a long time, and we're coming in and out a little bit, and I don't know how many states we're going to, but it's Florida and Texas and all that. So it's gonna be pretty amazing. Let's see, I wanted to tell you about, and the things that are coming up. So we got the ongoing coaching, helping people get recovered. And in the fall, like after Labor Day, I'm going to help people do the HCG diet. It's one of the few diets I feel like you can do with fibromyalgia, because you don't have to exercise, and the food is not inflammatory, and it's really easy to do. It's real food. It's really easy to do. And I'll help you do it soup to nuts, like all the resources, all the stuff, how to do it. And yeah, so I'm going to take a group through that after Labor Day. So be hearing more about that. And then the local thing. So Where Systems Go for Fibro Day. And it's on November 4th, Saturday, November 4th in Dayton, Ohio. So I actually booked a hall in Dayton, Ohio, that had a big light up billboard on the big interstate I-75. It was going to say fibroday.net, like, or whatever. And I booked that in March of 2020. I paid $500 down. And I thought, well, in May, it's going to be fine. Everybody will come back out in May. Go away, please. I'm live now. Anyway, I'm going to take your questions in a minute. Feel free to type them all up, and I'll answer them in just a second. So if we're only going to do 35 tickets for the live event. And there's going to be a lunch included, and it's going to be really cool. But we're also going to do online live stream at the same time. And just to make things more complicated on me, we're also going to have interviews, like a telesummit, a summit. So we're going to have interviews available for that too. So we're going to have live people live and in person in Dayton, Ohio. 35 tickets. That's all we have room for at the venue. We're going to have a couple of speakers there besides me, and then there in person we're going to have lunch. That I'm in charge of that, so it's going to be really flavorful and also healthy. And then we're going to have other speakers like their talks are going to be available. Recorded talks are going to be available, and then people can join by live stream live too with us, and that can be 100 people, it could be 500 people, whatever that turns out to be. And so that's what's going on. We've got for the year, and then probably in the new year we'll do a sugar detox, because that's always really popular. But I don't know if we're gonna do, yeah. Anyway, so that's the cool things that are going on. And I'm super excited about September's weight loss group, and I'm super excited about Fibro Day. And going into the holidays, people are going to be recovering, and I'm so excited about that. Like, what would it mean? What would it mean to you to have this Christmas, this summer, this Christmas, this fall, to like feel like a normal person and be able to play with your grandkids or play with your kids, or be able to travel and go on that vacation? I have had so many clients that they booked the vacation of a lifetime 6 months after they start with me for 6 months, because they know they're going to be able to do that. They're going to be able to walk all over Europe, or they're going to be able to go play in the surf and sand. And maybe if you're really good, you can go buy a bunch of roller coasters like me. So with that, I am open to taking any kind of questions. We have quite a few minutes here left, so I'm going to read the chat, but you can like raise your hand on Zoom, or you can just pop in and unmute, whatever it takes to be seen. And I'm sorry about Facebook. I don't know what happened with that. So, okay. So, I'm so happy everybody's here. That's so exciting. Thank you, Donna, for the congratulations. What helped with my depression? So, the detoxification helped. But the big thing I think that helps with depression personally is that that gut healing. That's called the second brain. And there's all kinds of feel-good chemicals made in the gut. And that, I used a colonizing probiotic along with the detox mineral, that the depression just lifted. And I get busy like anybody else with work and family and home and like all that stuff. And sometimes I don't pay as much attention to my food, and even if I'm eating good food, but if I'm eating kind of crappy food too, I'm sensitive. It affects my gut biome, I'm sure. And with all the stuff that had been going on over COVID and all that, when I'm watching the news, it affects me. I'm a human being. It affects me. I'm worried about the future, and I shouldn't be. Anyway, it's like 1 + 1 = 3 a lot of times with this kind of thing. So I started to feel, and I think it was also the menopause stuff, I started to feel that flicker of depression and having that crappy thought process. One of my friends calls it the itty bitty shitty committee. So going round and round in your brain. And that with the PTSD, that was just not good. I feel hopeful and calm and excited about the future now. And that's where I want to be. And I feel like when I'm in that mode, I'm attracting a better future for myself as well. Okay. Donna asks, do you recommend low dose naltrexone? My doctor is considering that. You know, so I hear a lot of people have success with it, but they can't be on narcotic pain. From what I understand, they can't be on other pain relievers, and that this doesn't act on the body the way the other pain relievers do. So it's kind of one of those things, like, you know, it's kind of a big deal to get on it. It's kind of a big deal to like get it, like it, to actually get it. And my advice would be to try it, see how it works, but eventually, like, maybe use it as a bridge to get off medications completely, get well, and then you won't need it at all. I haven't taken anything for pain, well, since the C-section, and my son's, at the end of the month, he'll be 14. So I haven't taken anything for pain. I've had a headache here and there. Maybe I've had an aspirin once or twice in 14 years. But yeah, I probably not even that. Like, and if I've had an aspirin, it's been like because of I had too much to drink or something. But I usually don't drink much. So like, I'm just trying to think, like, I don't yeah, maybe I did once or twice. So yeah. Okay. Liz says, wow, that was wonderful timing for Stacy. That must be an amazing feeling for you both. Yeah, it is. This is why I do that, because people are getting their lives back, and it's a ripple effect. It's a ripple effect on their families and, you know, their work, and then it's a ripple effect further out. So happy, you know, that if you get taken out of, if you get to the point where you're not able to work and you're not able to function for your family, that's you know, the whole family's affected. It's like anybody else that would happen to, the whole family's affected. Liz says, Donna, it's helpful if you have a doctor who will monitor you. My own experience with LDN, low dose naltrexone, was that it made me severely depressed. Oh man. So keep an eye on yourself. I know someone who also had similar, but also many people who did really well. And then Susan asked, what's LDN? Low dose naltrexone. Donna said, I struggle with fatigue so much, it doesn't help that I have MG2. MG, is that migraines? Susan says, thanks, Liz. What helped you with your PTSD? So the PTSD, meridian tapping, like when you tap on acupuncture points like that with the thought in mind. My best resource for meridian tapping is a free resource on YouTube. It's
Brad Yates.
Exactly,
We
Susan.
talked about that
Yes.
coming back to
I
me,
love
yeah.
Oh yeah. He came to
I love
Ohio, to Columbus. I went and saw him. I took my whole team.
Oh, what do you know? Yeah, he's great.
I took my team, and then
Who are you talking about?
Brad Yates,
Okay.
YATES. He's got a YouTube channel where he does meridian tapping, and he's got
Okay.
like over 1,000 videos. And like, you could just do Brad Yates and then type a subject, and he's probably got 3 videos on that, and you could just go through and tap with him.
Thank you.
I have a friend, a very dear friend of mine. She has, well, I guess she has terminal cancer, and she's doing things all natural, and the tumors are shrinking, thankfully. And she used to be in a lot of pain, and now she's all like, I had a good day, and she basically has PTSD about being in pain again. So we did some tapping together, and her whole demeanor changed in like 5 minutes. So it's yeah, tapping is amazing, and it's how fast it works. I had, you know, PTSD from being in Bosnia, and I got home, and it subsided a little bit, and I was fine I was okay. I was okay for a while. And then as my physical health started to deteriorate, and I got really, really sick, my mental health deteriorated too. It's like all my demons came out to play. And so when I started to recover from fibromyalgia, I felt like I had the bandwidth to take on the anxiety, and the depression just lifted, but the anxiety and PTSD were still there. For the anxiety, meditation helped me. For the PTSD, I did tapping for about 5 minutes a day. In about 30 days, it was gone. And it was so profound that I actually went to the VA, because I was going to the VA, which is a whole nother story. And I got released from psychiatric care, which, gosh, that sounds like I got released from the loony bin or something. But I mean, if you see a psychiatrist, you're under psychiatric care. So anyway, I didn't need to be there anymore. I didn't have depression. I didn't have anxiety. I didn't have PTSD. I had no symptoms. And I wasn't taking any of their meds anymore. And I asked Leah, the psychiatrist, like, how many people get released? And she's like, she hemmed and hawed and didn't really tell me an answer. So I gather it was like about 2%. And that's amazing, because I had everything you could possibly imagine to support me and help me in my health, and nothing worked till I did this. So I had a psychiatrist, a psychologist for women veterans. I had a combat veteran group, and then I had a women's veteran group. I only went to the combat veteran group twice, because like Vietnam veterans, they're like my dad's age, and it's like, no, I don't need to be in that group. So yeah, so that's what helped with the PTSD. And Donna says, thanks, Liz. I'm worried about starting something else. I can understand that, and I would be too. And Liz says it's worth trying, but being careful about it. Okay. All right. Donna says, wow, that's wonderful. Jetty, can you spell his name? Yates, Brad Yates. I think that's who you're talking about. Liz, dear Leah, thank you for sharing what's been happening for you in your latest journey. It's wonderful to hear and see, and that you are now back in a place to share your experience and gifts. Thank you. I never left, but things weren't working. And I got, discouraged, because I know, like, if like, when you go to do something and you don't know how hard it's going to be, it's almost like you have this gift of ignorance, because, you go through it and you're like, you kind of handle things as they come along. If you had to do that all over again, like if you built a house and you never built a house before, and well, now everything it takes to go through it. Now they're saying, okay, now build another house. Like, you'd be like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to put myself through that again, And it's like, I feel like I'm rebuilding this business, but that's actually not true. I have a ton of experience. I've, a lot of people like you guys that are out there that are interested in this message. And I know a lot more, because I've been working behind the scenes at someone else's huge business. So, I've been laying the groundwork to do all this so much better. And but it's just, yeah, it's been, do I want to do that again? Yes, I do. Now I do, because I feel better, and I have a better outlook, and it seems like everything's opening up, and all the COVID stuff's behind us. And yeah, I hope. I hope. And what are you going to do if it's not? Like, we need to move on with our lives and have fun. I don't know where you guys are at in the country per se, but where I'm at in Dayton, Ohio, we're getting that smoke from up north coming down, and I'm having to drink a lot more than normal, because I can feel it in my throat, the smoke from the forest fires in Quebec. So I apologize for that. Okay. Any other questions? We got about a few more minutes left. And I'm going to look and see if we ever did meet up with, yeah, we didn't go meet up. Okay. Christy. Hi, Christine. Thanks so much, Leah. I feel honored that you share what you've been through with us. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm here, I'm real. And yeah, the challenges don't stop once you recover. They're just different challenges, and you don't feel like crap all the time. So yay. My throat is getting so deep now, because of the smoke. Okay. So last call for questions, and I'll just tell you a little bit about yeah, we've got ongoing coaching. If you wanted a free session with me to talk about like what you can do. The fibroladycalendar.com. We got sessions on Friday and Saturday. And then after July 15th, when I get back from my roller coaster safari adventure trip. And then in the fall, we're going to be doing a HCG fibro weight loss group. We're going to do that, and we're going to go through all 4 phases of HCG, and I'll explain everything and tell you where to get all the supplies and all that stuff. This is great if you have anywhere from, if this is great for anybody, not if you're pregnant. If you're going through menopause, you might want to wait a little bit, but if you don't want to wait, it's okay. You just have to be super strict and lower your expectations. But you can lose a half a pound to a pound a day in the 6 weeks you're on it. And anyway, so we'll do that we'll have that group for 3 or 4 months, probably up to the holidays, maybe after the holidays. November, we're doing Fibro Day. I don't have the landing page for that, but just know that's coming up. If you're local, save the date. It's Saturday, November 4th. It starts at 11 and goes to about 4. And there's going to be lunch, and it's going to be really fun and awesome. And if you're not local, or if you're not willing to drive to Dayton, Ohio, then like save the date. It's 11 a.m. Eastern, which is 8 a.m. Pacific. I don't know about the other time zones, sorry. But that would be later in the evening in London, and then like probably around midnight in Sydney, Australia. Anyways, we live stream, and then we're going to also have, I know one of the people that we're going to have is a woman who's a sex therapist, and we're going to talk about making love to our significant other, even with physical challenges. So that's going to be really cool. Too far from the UK. Okay, Liz, but you're welcome to come. I do have I would offer a guest bedroom up, but the MC of the event is probably going to be staying at the guest bedroom. Good night to you too, Christine. Thank you so much. Blessings to you. So that's all we got coming up that I know of. There's going to probably be some other things. And yeah, and if you want to talk to me about recovering from fibromyalgia, if you want some extra support in that, I'd love to help you. And yeah, and reach out, the fibroladycalendar.com. So with that, will I send out a follow-up email? Yes, I'll send out a follow-up email, and we recorded this. So the link to the recording, it's going to be a link to a YouTube video. And so that'll be available. It'll be available probably tomorrow. I'm actually going on a roller coaster tomorrow too. So in Indiana, part of our big travels. All right. So with that, everybody, thank you so much for showing up, and thanks for all your participating, and thanks for coming in from all over. I love you. I'm so glad you're here, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Mwah. Thank you so much. Much love, blessings, and gratitude.
Thank you.
You're welcome.